Okay, write down the first question. It's from religion and society. Okay. See, most of the thinkers that we have learned in the, what you call Western or paper one can be applied here itself. So that's why I'm doing this question. The question is discuss the growth of religious sects in India. Religious sects in India. Okay, when it comes to sects, what were the theories that we have studied? The first one is the Weber, right? The most popular one, as I said, is a theodicy of disprivilege. So basically, Weber would be saying that it is the theodicy of disprivilege. Among the disprivileged people, the people who have not been given due what we call dignity in the society, they would be going for formation of sect. Okay. Apart from that, other things also we might have written, such as sects is one which is having more degree of control over the members. There is ceremony for what you call becoming its member as well. So sects and all these things that we have already done. In this I have made points and now we are going to write the answer. Sects, I believe, can be easily defined, right? That could be a good introduction for this. In the body, please write down the points that I have made. If I missed anything, then you guys can add upon, okay? The first one is the wider process of secularization. The wider process of secularization. The wider process of secularization and modernity. Made people find traditional religion ritualistic, rigid and orthodox. Ritualistic, rigid and orthodox. Okay. So basically the what you call this process of secularization, I believe we have a theory of thinkers which would be saying that secularization is what we call pluralism, right? Multiple of, right? Which one? Yes, the Rodney and Stark. Okay, so in this first point you could just write in bracket Rodney and Stark. Okay, in which basically says that pluralism, that is existence of multiple religion, means secularization. Means the process of secularization would involve that multiple what we call sects or religion is existing is coexisting. The second point is increasing inequality. And anxiety. Increasing inequality and anxiety in society. in society. Demonstrate sects as demonstrate sect as demonstrate sect as a safe haven. Demonstrate sect as a safe haven for marginalized community. For marginalized community. So this is related to the theodicy of disprivilege by Weber. So you could just write in the bracket that this is what Weber has said in the theodicy of disprivilege. एक्चुअली फ्रेंड्स आए हुए फॉरेस्ट सर्विस के और हम लोग को जाना था गोल्फ और सुबह मैं रात भर सोया भी नहीं और फिर भी सुबह जा करके जल्दी जाना पड़ा हालत खराब है पूरा मेरा. The third one is rapid and big changes due to urbanization. Still we would be having at least 1 or 1.5 hour class, okay? Rapid and big changes due to urbanization. Rapid and big changes due to urbanization. Rapid and big changes due to urbanization. See, this urbanization phenomenon is responsible, if you have seen this, what you call example could be kirtan. That kirtan is actually used, it's very popular. Kirtan is something, what we call, in which we praise the God, and it forms like Saturday or Sunday mein, like rich people go to clubs, but the poor people who are working class, manual labor specifically, they would be having kirtan. It is actually noted phenomenon, what we call, when it comes to urbanization, and what we call, even in NCERT it is written. So you guys could write how kirtan is a kirtan example, what we call ceremonial, what you call group prayer such as kirtan is a prominent example. Please elaborate on the lines on which I did just now. But it is a noted fact that kirtan, the very idea actually, what you call this kirtan would be very much, although it has been, what you call, has been part of the, what you call process of worship, but, what you call different forms, different folk language get adopted, and comes to the urban center, and then it becomes a different form of kirtan. So that exactly, just get it from the internet or somewhere, try to understand what exactly is this, phenomenon happening, could be a wonderful example for this instance, okay? Even I believe, we did this, what we call revivalism. We did this revivalism, religious revivalism, in which we did 2 common factor and 2 factor from third world, right? We did this. If everybody has in the religious class, we did this. 2 common factor were those factor in which, what we call, first was that this, what we call modernity is what it is leading to, is that all the independent spheres, such as, in which the, what we call, the aesthetic one, okay, the one in which we go for aesthetics, the independent sphere, okay, and then there is an instrumental sphere which is for day-to-day life, okay. The aesthetic sphere, such as art, such as religion, culture, everything now has started becoming dependent on the instrumental sphere, right? If you have more money, you would be going for Tirupati. If you would have less money, you would be just have a Tirupati idol in the home, okay. So that exactly is leading to disenchantment. People are feeling that, ultimately it is depending quite upon my, what you call, purchasing power. So they would be going for more, traditionalism form of religion, maybe more, I hope everyone is getting, I'm just saying this, how religious revivalism also could be one of the reason for, what you call, formation of sects and cults. We did 2 reason, and then of course for the third world as well, okay. Right on the 4th region. Sects are involved in, 4th reason, sects are involved in school building, sects are involved in school building, hospital, hospital, etc., which attracts the rich. Which attracts the rich. So sects here, it is just referring that in a way it is becoming an underground social business for rich. Okay. So I was just going through this, what you call this lie detector test we have, right? I was just going through that. What exactly, it was just a theory was saying that, what exactly happens is that, people who have done some crime would be going for some philanthropy, because if you have to, cheat that lie detector test, na? So basically in lie detector test, you would be asked something. At that time, if you're thinking of the philanthropic activities, what you have done, that would just calm your nerves. So then you would be able to cheat that device. Okay, so it was just saying something that I could remember how, rich are also involved in the sects in the form of a money business rather than exactly what it is what you call for religion. Next point is people often see them with, people often see sects with, people often see sect with, sect leader with, sorry, just like sect leader. People often see sect leader with healing and other, healing and other, healing and other superstitious power. Healing and other superstitious power. Such an image, such an image, such an image become more popular, become more popular in areas of high illiteracy and backwardness. In areas of high illiteracy and backwardness. So here we are referring to the charismatic authority kind of thing, which is leading to formation of sects, around which the entire sect is revolving. Okay, something on that line. Next point is historicity. Historicity. Next point is just historicity, right? Historicity of the region. Yes, historicity of the region. So basically it says that, if you see the, what you call our border, we have what you call Pakistan here. Okay, we have Punjab here. It has been always that, new, what you call, always the warriors, invaders have come through this. So this border has been always porous. Since this border was porous, it has always been a center of intermingling. Okay, since it was a center of intermingling, rise of new religion has, or sect, has not been a new phenomenon in this. It has been something since ages. Okay, so that is what I want to write in this one. It was again, I believe, came in Hindu also, this historicity. There, from there only I took. Another thing which I took from newspaper. The areas of Punjab adjoining the Pakistan border, the areas of Punjab adjoining the Pakistan border. आप लोग को ये पता है ना कि रैनबैक्सी का जो वो CEO समथिंग था, इवन ही वाज इन्वॉल्व इन समथिंग सेक्ट बिजनेस एंड देन बहुत बड़ा फाइन देना पड़ा था. I mean, it was bankrupt due to all this thing only. Anyway, I mean, basically the guy was running the entire company on the basis of, command of a guru. Although it's a scientific company being, guided by someone from a super. Anyway, so what we have written, the areas of Punjab adjoining the Pakistan border has been porous since ages, has been porous since ages. Due to regular invasion, due to regular invasion. So intermixing of culture, So intermixing of culture has led to development of new sects. Has led to development of new sects. Here we could actually even think on the line of what we call the material density and I believe dynamic density and physical density. Something on that line Durkheim has said, right? So it is something that on similar line is happening. Next one is poverty. Next is poverty. Just write poverty and then we would be explaining it. Rampant poverty and low wages, rampant poverty and low wage among migrants, attract them to sects, due to cheap medical facilities, food, lodging, due to cheap medical facilities, food, lodging, etc. So poverty would also become one of the reason for this, okay? एक बार please आप लोग देखना कि what was the सच्चा सौदा, the actual सच्चा सौदा was done by Guru Nanak, okay? Do read it. It's a wonderful story. The other guy also claimed that he is also Dera Sacha Sauda, something on that line. But do read what exactly was the story of Sacha Sauda that Guru Nanak did, okay? Okay, now we are going to cover few theories and then we are going to come back to one more question on religion, okay? I have told you earlier also we would be discussing fundamentalism characteristic given by T.N. Madan. So next topic is fundamentalism as described by T.N. Madan. T.N. Madan. Whenever fundamentalism comes, we have done the Steve Bruce one, right? In the paper one we did a study of Steve Bruce. The next one, when it comes to Indian, again a very wonderful and generic thinker which could be quoted everywhere, and henceforth I actually am discussing this theory. Write down the first characteristic of fundamentalism as given by him. The first one is final authority of scripture. Final authority of scripture. Fundamentalism would be going for reposing the final authority to scripture. The second one is it is not an original impulse. It is not an original impulse. The process of fundamentalism is not an original impulse, but rather a reaction. But rather a reaction. Not an original response, but rather an reaction. If you remember, we did this Steve Bruce thing in which I told that fundamentalism is where we have to showcase that we have a common enemy, right? Common enemy dikhana bahut zaruri hai, and then only fundamental would be rising. So it is on similar lines, okay? It is bound to be a reaction. It is not going to be an original impulse in itself. The third one is intolerance to dissent. Intolerance to dissent. Intolerance to dissent. The next one is cultural critique of modern society. Cultural critique of modern society. The next one is appeal to tradition. Next one is appeal to tradition but in a selective manner. Appeal to tradition but in a selective manner. The next one is capture of political power. Capture of political power. Capture of political power. The last one is charismatic leadership. Charismatic leadership. Who was the leader of Iranian revolution? Ayatollah Khomeini, right? And you guys, are you aware of the process, you know what you call the, जैसे हम लोग का पता है ना, in our constitution how we have this executive, judiciary and legislature. Are you aware how their, you know what you call institution are arranged? Yes, yes, please go through it, okay? There is a very wonderful, you know what you call interaction through which all this, you know what you call, I mean, the theologist, the theocratic, how the theocracy would be controlling the entire, you know, system, which is interestingly elected. So just go through it, okay? Do go through it, how that institution are arranged. It is pretty much what we call interesting to know. What is the name of parliament of Iran? जैसे हम लोग का में कहते हैं ना लोकसभा, उन्हें हम क्या बोलते हैं? न्यूज़पेपर तो लोग पढ़ते नहीं हो क्या यार? ओके, सॉरी, नेसेट तो कहीं और का है. नेसेट आई बिलीव इज दैट इजराइल. It's Majlis, right? Neset is Israel. Okay, write down communalism. Next topic is communalism. Next topic is communalism. Write down the definition of communalism. Again, one of the definition which is pretty broad and can be utilized anywhere. It is a sectarian exploitation. It is a sectarian exploitation of social tradition, of social traditions, of social traditions as a medium of political mobilization. It is a sectarian exploitation of social tradition as a medium of political mobilization. Okay, so communalism is not necessarily based on religion. That is why I took this definition, because communalism should always not be connected to religion. Okay, so I'm going to just give you an example what exactly Clifford Geertz has said. Okay, this thinker has said what exactly when it comes to communalism. According to him, when it comes to India, communalism has a religious color. When it comes to Malay Peninsula, that is Singapore and Malaysia, it has a racial color, racial basis. And when it comes to Congo, it has a tribal basis. Okay, just to give you an example that communalism not necessarily should be related to religion. Okay, it is exploitation of any identity for political mobilization. Next, I don't think, I actually could find this, what you call it, only in Bipin Chandra book. That's why I felt that it might be even formulated by Bipin Chandra only. What were the three stages of communalism as given by him? Okay. Yes, there are the three stages. Write down the three stages. The first stage is liberal communalism. Just a second. Okay, it starts with communal nationalism, then it goes to liberal, and then it goes to, the first stage is communal nationalism. Communal nationalism. What exactly happens in communal nationalism is that people of same religion would think that their secular interests are also same. Okay? Next stage is, you could just write in one single sentence, that people of same religion would suppose, that their secular interests are also same. The second one is liberal communalism. The second stage is liberal communalism. What exactly happens in liberal communalism is that one community would be thinking that their secular interest is separate from other, what you call community. Okay? In the extreme one, it will become opposite. In second one, you could just write that interest of one community are divergent and dissimilar, are divergent and dissimilar to the interest of the follower of another community. To the interest of the follower of another community. The third one is extreme communalism. The third stage is extreme communalism. In which interest of one community stands in antagonism with the other community. there is one theory by T.K. Omen as well, but it is just showing the manifestation of it. Okay. Just write down just whatever he has said. It would be moving ahead. Because it's quite self-explanatory as well as not that much required as well. Not useful actually when it comes to notes. T.K. Omen. We have read about this guy when it came to nationalism and ethnicity. Okay, how ethnicity becomes nation when it identifies with a territory, and when a person is removed from the territory, it becomes ethnic identity, right? We did this guy earlier also. Six dimensions of communalism are assimilationist. Next one is welfarist. Third one is retreatist. So Lotus Temple in Delhi is built by which community? Baha'i community, okay? So Baha'i community would come in retreatist because they do not allow the members of Baha'i community to participate in politics, okay? None of the member of Baha'i community would be joining the politics or interfering it, okay? So that Baha'i community is an example of retreatist communalism, okay? Last year, before this, before this 2018 result, I didn't went anywhere. But the first time when I gave, then we went to Lotus Temple, Kalkaji every day. They're just for fun sake, we thought, okay, well, let's visit all the temple. So we went all the temple, all the church that day. Because we were anyway not interested in studying. Just for fun sake, but it was good. Next is retaliatory. My God, how would I speak in district? Retaliatory. The next one is separatist. And the next one is cessationist. So these are the manifestation in which we could find communalism, okay? Another point, just write it down. Just let me check. It was by Ghanshyam Saha. I think he is also very popular, right? Ghanshyam Saha. According to Ghanshyam Saha, again we are still going on the communalism only. We are just trying to come up with thinkers to write when a question on communalism comes, okay? According to Ghanshyam Saha, communal rights are class conflict. He considered communal rights as class conflict. According to him, just a bit more explanation. According to him, in a developing country, communal rights becomes a natural outcome of the developmental process, in which there is constraint on resources, and mobilization becomes more easy on religious lines. He gives the example that the Bhagalpur riots or the Muzaffarpur, which riots was there? One communal riots was there. Was it? The Muzaffarpur riots, according to him, is example of class conflict only. He studied that riots in 1960 somewhere around, right? Muzaffarpur riots. I will just write. I don't know how to spell it. The Muzaffarpur riots. It's in Bihar. It's a place in Bihar. Okay. It was not a recent one. It's a long back one I'm referring to. I think the 1967 or 69. That riots was when even Bihar and Jharkhand were not separated. At that time this riot took place. That according to him is a class conflict. Just write down another point in it. Not a thinker, but a point. I believe it's a important characteristics of communal rights. So we must write. It is found that regions where earlier communal rights have already happened, regions where earlier communal rights have already happened, becomes more prone to such an incident, or such an incident in future as well. Next point. It is generally a urban or peri-urban phenomenon. Next point, in communalism itself, it is generally a urban or peri-urban phenomenon. Urban or peri-urban phenomenon. The next point. Biasness among state authorities. Next point. Biasness among state authorities could add fuel to the fire of communal rights. Fire of communal rights. That's why we all have this, whenever, infected areas is there of communal violence, we do this flag march, we do this, what we call DM would be visiting it, showcasing, that both the parties, are going to be equally treated. The very, what you call movement, if it is seen, no, state is with one community, then the other community would just wipe out. So that's why, so much precaution has to be taken to showcase that the state is pretty much neutral in this case, okay? Okay, it's Ghosh, or not Shah, sorry. Sorry, yeah, it's Ghosh, not Ghanshyam Shah. Just wipe it out. Write down the next question, again, which is on religion only. What are the distinct features of Islam? What are the distinct features of Islam? The question is, what are the distinct features of Islam as practiced in India, as practiced in India, as practiced in India, and how have they changed over time? And how have they changed over time? And how have they changed over time? See, Muslims form around 14% of India's population. That could be a good, what you call, after Indonesia and Pakistan, we have the largest, what you call, Muslim population in the world. This two facts and figure could be a good introduction for this answer. Yes, I would be repeating it once more, that India, in what Muslim population form, Muslims community form 14% of India's population. 14, 1 4. If it was 40, then many people would be sad, especially those who claim themselves to be nationalists. 1 4, 14%, okay? After Indonesia and Pakistan, we have the largest population of Muslim residing in a country. Okay, so now we are going to just focus on the body. That is, we are going to write the distinct features. So next in the body it would be distinct features. Just write down a heading or subheading. Distinct features. The first one is existence of caste system. The first one is existence of caste system. The second one is practice of untouchability. Practice of untouchability. The third one is process of Sanskritization happening with respect to the ashrafs. Ashrafs. So ashrafs are considered as the top in hierarchy when it comes to the Muslims caste. So the process would be of Sanskritization would even be occurring in the Muslims as well with respect to the ashrafs. Next one is peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence and syncretism. Peaceful coexistence and syncretism. Basically some type of fusion is going on when it comes to Muslims in India. The Indo-Islamic architecture is an example of this syncretic culture. Syncretic culture. Okay. The next one is, and very popular thing which actually, what you call Indians are usually proud of, is that the religious fundamentalism and strict adherence, religious fundamentalism and strict adherence to rigid orthodox values, is less visible It's less visible. One of the reason, it came in, I believe, in what you call newspaper reports as well, that the joint family system is one of the reason that we have a less degree of fundamentalism. And again, not necessarily joint family does not mean structurally joint, even the functionally joint family. Whenever a youth is getting, stray in terms of fundamentalism, he is getting recruited, or he's about to, going for recruitment. Even older person who are not living with them, the family, they would be coming and ensuring that the course correction is done. Okay, again, something, a format in which you could just, what you call, write it down, that, what you call, if a question is asked, that one of the reason is, what you call, joint family system. Maybe just add a point that existence of joint family system, in bracket, structurally or functionally, because we know that these two are two different things, structurally and functionally. Which thinkers is for functionally joined? Nuclear? MNS, right? MS Srinivas. Is the reason of existence of joint family, is the reason behind fundamentalism being less pronounced in India. Fundamentalism being less pronounced in India. Anything else that we should be adding? Yes, that is more independence to women. Should we add it in the change, or should we add it in the features? Again, a call that we have to take. Because I've just noted down the distinct features. Now I will be moving to the change. Let's add those things in the change, right? That will be more appropriate. Write on changes. The second part of the answer we are going to. Changes over time. Again, this thinker will come, okay? Clifford Geertz. Just write it down. Number 1 point, changes में. This thinker name, point 1. This thinker name, and then I would be discussing what exactly he has said. According to him, changes in Islam was done through education. However, changes in theodicy didn't took place. Changes in theodicy didn't took place. Henceforth, new sanction for ongoing social change, remained absent. So basically this guy is saying that, the theocracy or the theodicy is not changing. Okay, whatever change is coming is that there would be more access to education to every section of the people. Only that is happening. The theodicy is not changing. So as a result of it, any social change that might be coming only due to education. Education means a spread of ideas. Of course, people would be going for some form of social change, right? But that social change is not getting sanctioned from the theodicy. New structures are not coming to give them sanction, to drive the social change on a wider scale. So that is not happening according to Clifford Gage. Okay, right on the next one. The next point: polarization and ghettoization. Polarization and ghettoization. In India, yes, we are still talking about the India. हाँ उसने universally बोला है. He has talked about, he studied I think Pakistan, Turkey and India, something on that line. He studied multiple, what you call, and then he has concluded on this. So this is a general statement. Polarization and ghettoization is the second point that you could write. Polarization and ghettoization, and that is happening because of the problem of minority. We did this ghettoization process. Anthony Giddens' one of the characteristic of minority is ghettoization, in which they would be residing in aggregate in socially excluded spaces. The next change is greater independence to women. Independence or status of women, what should we use? What do you think would be more appropriate? Sorry? Change in the status of women, just write it down. Change in the status of women reflected by instances such as change in status of women reflected by instances such as reduction in polygamy. Reduction in polygamy. Should we, I think we should be at any cost bringing this triple talaq debate for sure, but I'm still confused how we should be doing it. Can anyone suggest me a good way to formulate it? The triple talaq is an example, I believe, in which state is coming and you're trying to, uniforms, bringing some degree of secularization in the process of, in Muslim personal law. Yeah. Again, that would, further deepen the debate. Actually, there are both sides of the debate. And ideally, even whenever I have been asked, I never, say that there should be uniform civil code. Because it is like, our, people are diverse. So in my opinion, I actually never agree with that. That's why I don't know if we should be going ahead with such a statement. I only felt that it's okay, we could just write that, of course, the law or state is taking steps to bring some degree of secularization in personal laws. Or codification, at least the codification would be better. Yeah, state is taking place, state is taking role. Next step, state is taking role. When was Muslim Personal Law Act passed? Yes, it was before independence. ठीक है, वो codified. और पहली बार codification कब हुआ था, किसने किया था? Very famous, IPC, CRPC उसी से ने बनाया था. Macaulay, right? Or what was that guy? Some M से ही नाम था. Macaulay, right? He was select committee का वो था वो. Okay. State is taking role or initiative State is taking role or initiative to codify personal law, which is pushing the process of secularization. Anything else in changes we should be writing? We have left prominent one. Does anyone has newspapers of today? Newspaper? Yeah, please give me. Okay, you guys have 10 minutes to complete this answer. I will just in the meantime go through the newspaper and see what I can, tell from sociological perspective. Okay, did I miss something in terms of changes or anything that you have added? Okay, so we are going ahead with the topics. Okay, we have 2 more topics to study, 2 or 3 more topics. So I just came across this interesting article which says rat snake tortured to look more appealing. Okay, so basically there is a rat snake. So rat snake would be, what you call, it would be captured by a snake charmer. Okay, again snake charmer. I would like to just try to make you understand that entire dynamics of it. Okay, so what they did is that they captured the snake, and then they have put the mongoose hair in their in head to make it more attractive, something on that line. Okay, why? Because Shivratri is coming. Okay, so here religion is coming. Okay, here is a section of what you call, and then this is done by a snake charmer, which is a section of people. Okay, which would be forming what we call section of people, maybe something on a stratification line. Okay, so if you guys know that a snake charmer would come in this what we call this denotified tribe, something on that line they comes, right? So something on that line, if you actually understand, then you would understand that what is the state role in this, what role a state could play. Something on that line you can analyze. Okay, a state role can be understand. Then again, religion, Marxists would just explain it is simple, that it is just the capitalist agenda. These people are just selling something, and religion as an opium could be one explanation of it. Okay, when it comes to functionalists, they would just say Shivratri is a festival which is bound to generate what we call social cohesiveness, something on that line, right? If we go with the other conflict school, see, other conflict school, or even what we call social fact approach of religion, social fact approach. If you consider religion as a social fact, then these people are not at all guilty, right? Because they are doing something that is external, they are doing something under external constraint. And this could be actually explained why, because the state does not, what we call a state is doing nothing to actually enable them to shift to other occupation. Okay, only what we call making it illegal is not going to solve the problem. So I'm just trying to bring different perspective from this very small story, right? We could bring the state power relation, we could talk about stratification as well, we could talk from what you call social fact approach, we could talk from Marxism, religion and everything. Just an example, okay, that how we could bring different perspective from a single thing that we have studied. Okay, then another what we call in the last page there is one we call no LGBT space, something on that line it is there. Okay, no LGBT space, something on that line it is. If we were doing this theory of what we call this queer theory, we were doing in that one of the pillar of queer theory I wrote it down is queer space, right? When the queer theory developed, queer space started coming up in urban landscape. So this no LGBT space, which actually found its mention in a very small paragraph, it actually exists in Turkey, right? Which is the place? Poland. So basically in Poland, it is what you call reaction to what is happening in urban landscape of queer space. I'm just trying to give you an example that if you're writing queer theory, you have now queer space, then you could have also in no queer space also, or originating to a reaction to this. Just an understanding. Actually, most of them today is, of course, up to the monsoon session, I mean, polity would be the main, what we call cover of all this, what we call newspaper, and henceforth, not much is there. Most of the thing that is there could be just explained in terms of all the theories that we have learned when it comes to the chapter of power, and henceforth, not much social related one is not coming, but still I hope you get, when you are what we call drawing the bigger picture, you're trying to understand from the abstract level, then a multiple what we call theories could be applied in a single very small what we call news space. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Let's see if tomorrow we are able to come up with a better one. Now we are going to talk about slums. It's very important, and I have some good notes on this, henceforth I felt I should be giving. Write down the definition of slum as given in census 2011. Okay, we are taking the definition of slums from census 2011. A residential area, few topics from urbanization I'm just covering, okay, which are pretty much important and can be asked henceforth. A residential area where dwellings are unfit for human habitation. Where dwellings are unfit for human habitation by regions of overcrowding, faulty arrangement, and design, lack of ventilation, light, or sanitation facilities. Just write down on statistics that 65 million people lives in slum. 65 million people live in slums. According to 2011 census, okay? This is again according to 2011 census. Region, what are the region of development of slum? Regions. The National Institute of Urban Affairs, pointed out three factors responsible for development of slums. Three factors responsible for development of slums. Number one, the potential for employment, which attracts a large crowd to urban center. The potential for employment which attract a large crowd towards urban center. Number two, incapacity to meet the rising demand of housing. Number two, incapacity to meet the rising demand of housing. Number three, rigid urban policy which does not allow poor to buy land in urban areas, which do not allow poor to buy land in urban areas. Some of the characteristics of slum now we are going to discuss, only to what we call understand what exactly is happening. I mean, how is it different from other urban settlement or not? Okay, for that we would be doing some characteristics of slum. Just write down. Average size of household. Characteristic of slum, number one, average size of household is no larger than average Indian household. That is 4.7 family member per household. That is 4.7 family members per household. Again, it's an average, hence 4.7. In reality, no 4.7 exists. Number 2, child sex ratio is 922. 922. Is it more or less than the actual urban child sex ratio? That you have to note it down. We'll still be comparing it with urban child sex ratio only, okay? Not the Indian average. Third one is literacy rate. Literacy rate. 77.7%. 77.7%. Number 4, workforce participation. Workforce participation is higher than the urban average. Is higher than the urban average. But only few have employment throughout the year. Have employment throughout the year. So in Hindu paper, if you have seen the editorial का second जो page होता है, in second page there would be some data, right? There would be data point or data wise, something on that line. उसके just बगल में every time a report would be discussed. Okay? That would be report. That report, I believe, rather than going through the entire report, it is better if you are going through such reports. It's pretty much important. I have taken one such report which came, I believe, when I was studying, when I used to study in the Hindu. Okay, just write down few of the points of such a report. %70 of the family are in debt. 70% of the family, just continuation of the characteristics, okay? You can have it as a next point itself. %70 of the families are indebted. The primary source of credit is informal credit. Primary source of credit is informal credit. Next point. The youths earn less than their more educated peer. More educated peer who don't live in the slum. Who don't live in the slum. Youth earn less than their more educated peers who don't live in slums. So whether you are not living in slum or whether you are living in slum, with the same education you might have different, what you call earning potential. Okay. And in that report it was shown, said that when the people were interviewed, the people always claimed that we tend to live in the slum only for a temporary, it was a temporary arrangement that we thought about. But they have now started living for generation, okay? Generation after generation they have started living in the slum. So you could just write family initially thought it as a slum, basically family initially thought it as a temporary arrangement but now have been living there for several generations. I believe at least 7 generations. That is the what you call exact figure, but you could just write have been living for several generations. Okay, just write, in the, for the cultural dimension, of, what we call slums, we are going to write few thinkers. Cultural dimension of slum. I mean, what is the ongoing cultural activity and which of the thinkers have commented on it? The first one is M.S.A. Rao. There is a popular work of M.S.A. Rao in Yadavpur village of Delhi, okay? I would suggest please do read it, okay? There are, what exactly happens when what you call urban settlements, creeps inside a peri-urban area, rural area. What exactly happens? You would easily find it in the, what you call Tushanshu sir notes. I'm just hinting it. Why? Because, see, Coorg was a properly rural area. Okay, Samir Pet had an interaction with the SC Dubey had an interaction with what we call the Hyderabad one. A Yadavpur village which he studied is directly, what we call in the border of Delhi. So it has a direct, what we call linkage. So just go through it. Pretty simple. Three, what we call conclusion he has said. Do go through it. But now we are going to talk about what exactly he has said about slums. According to him, slums are reason of cultural prosperity. Cultural prosperity. It becomes a mini culture center. It becomes a mini culture center. It becomes a mini culture center for rural migrants, Okay. Next one is MS Gore, which I felt should be written, and that's for MS Gore. I don't know how to spell, just write it down. According to him, slums are sweet spot in urban India. Slums are sweet spots in urban India. Sweet spots in urban India. Because it provides emotional support. Because it provides emotional support to the migrant population. Emotional support to the migrant population. See, again, if we talk about these two thinkers, they are quite in the functional school. We would have an alternate in the conflict school in which they would be just talking that, okay, urbanization is just benefited a small section of people and slum is growing because the benefit is not reaching them to, what you call. Again, we could have even in conflict the Marxist perspective in which they would be saying it is just the outcome of the capitalist mode of development that we have went ahead in, right? I'm just giving you an idea that how only knowing these two prominent thinkers, you could be going ahead and writing on your own the other perspective as we have learned, okay? Feminist perspective also you could write very easily, We did all this school only to, utilize it whenever it comes to answer writing. Right on the next part, social consequences of rapid urbanization. The next topic is social consequence of rapid urbanization. Okay, just a hint, okay. I mean, you could actually write in slums there is a, what you call politics also going on. Okay. Slums, whenever, we did the culture aspect, we did the other characteristics, okay. The politics and power angle also we could, understand from. I'm just giving you an example because I was just going through what we call today's newspaper in which it was showing that some denotified areas would be turned into something on that line the Delhi government is coming up with, right? What exactly happens is that the land mafia, okay, land mafia, they will, what you call, capture one big area, Okay, they would capture very big area in urban landscape. Okay, and then they would, what you call, just sell it out, what you call, rent, lease it out to small people, small, what you call, tenants who would living for generation in the form of slums only. Okay, when what we call election comes, then these people would be getting rent, they would be paying the government. Again, that is what we are assuming here. We would be paying the government, and then yes, of course, it would be just regularizing what exactly was a slum. Okay, so it becomes an idea of how the power relation is working, taking place. One of the theory, again, okay, one of the perspective to explain this, not the exact perspective. Okay, next is the regions behind child labor, another topic which I felt I should be giving because I took it from one of the research paper. What are the regions behind child labor? Oh, sorry, this we missed. Sorry. The first one is crime. Sorry, forgive me. The first one is crime. I think I really haven't slept, really. Never happened that I miss something. Number one is crime. Second one is isolation. And third one is maladjustment. Okay, I believe that is sufficient. You could just elaborate it. It's pretty much given in the Tushranju part also. Okay, the next one was factors behind child labor. Factors behind child labor. Factors behind child labor. Again, something which is pretty much related to the urban landscape. Henceforth, I am just putting it, clubbing it in a single topic. Number one is unemployment of adult in family. Unemployment of adult in family. Something that we could is important from GS perspective as well. Unemployment of adult in family. The second one is poor implementation of Child Labor Act. The second one is poor implementation of Child Labor Act. Poor implementation of Child Labor Act. The third one is lack of social security. Lack of social security. The third one is lack of social security. Fourth one is poverty. Fifth one is large family size. Large family size. The sixth one is absence of compulsory education. Absence of compulsory education. Absence of compulsory education. And the last one is low child wage. Low child wage. The wage when it comes to child is low. Okay. Write on one definition you have to write. I would suggest that you actually write an entire short note on this, and the topic is juvenile delinquency. Juvenile delinquency. Juvenile delinquency. Again, I am giving you this short note only because this definition, because it is one of the broadest and the closest which I could find in internet. Okay. Juvenile delinquency. I would repeat that. I would suggest everyone to be ready with a short notes of 150 words on this. Okay. Definition is habitual committing of crime. Habitual committing of crime or offenses. Crime or offenses. Crime or offenses by a young person by a young individual who is below the age who is below the age at which criminal prosecution is possible. Below the age at which criminal prosecution is possible. I am unable to recollect the thinker name, but one of the thinker has said that the bond between mother and child could determine whether the guy would be juvenile delinquent or not. Okay, if it is less strong, it could lead to juvenile delinquency. As you know, you'd find that in Tushranshu. I'm just unable to recollect. One of the factors you could just write: the bond between mother and child. The bond between mother and child could determine the degree to which a person is prone to juvenile delinquency. This was a thinker one. Rest though it is just GS, reasons behind it. So I don't think it is pretty much, something that I should be even talking about now. Okay, we would be meeting tomorrow for the final time. So finish this. I'll be discussing, I believe we have left politics, right? And social change, okay? Those two topics we would be doing.